Well, we continue to track Ian through the state of Florida, eventually out towards the Atlantic. But how did we get here? Boy, yesterday was rough across the areas of Florida where this made landfall. Florida landfall happened at 3:05 in the afternoon near Cayo Costa. It was a Category 4 storm when it hit. Winds were at 150, 940 millibar pressure. That's a very low pressure for a hurricane. When it's low, it means it's strong. And we don't need really the pressure to tell us that. They had record storm surge set in Fort Myers at 7 feet. And in Naples, it's 6 feet. What storm surge is when you have dry ground and then the wind from the hurricane over miles and miles piles that water up. So you imagine that, 7 feet. I'm 6 foot tall. We had 7-foot storm surge. So the water from the Gulf of Mexico piled up 7 feet high in areas of Fort Myers. Here's what it looked like on radar. Really well-defined eye wall came on shore. You can see how once it hits shore, it loses that food that hurricanes survive on. So it started to decay in terms of that eye wall. But intense winds right along that. They've had a catastrophic flooding on the north end of this. I don't like hype. This storm deserves the hype. They had anywhere from 10 to 15, even 18 inches of rain in a matter of hours as this moved in. That's on top of all the other storm surge. All the storm surge was down to the south, low wind here, so all that water piles up down to the south. Tampa had the opposite. All the water exited the bay as the wind was coming offshore. What happens today into tomorrow? It's going to make a churn. That will pile up more storm surge along the Savannah area up towards Charleston and South Carolina. This thing's feeding off of warm water, and look what's on the other side. This is the Gulf Stream, more warm water, so this may, as it goes back out over the ocean for a little bit, perhaps strengthen up again. In terms of winds, put together for you the highest wind speeds at landfall in Florida. The Labor Day storm back in 1935 takes the cake, 185 mile-per-hour winds. Andrew, we all know that one, 165 at landfall. But look at this, Michael and then Ian sitting in 4th place for Florida in terms of top winds at landfall. Just an incredible storm, lots of devastation in areas of Southwest Florida.